All right.
I'm not on narcotics. I will have a drink of wine.
Well, happy Sip and Sparkle Sunday, everyone. No, I'm not Lisa. I am Kathy Todryk, and I have Lisa with me today. And Lisa, I'm so glad that you're here and that we could do this. This is kind of weird for you, I bet.
It's a little weird, but yeah, it's great. No, I love it. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Yeah. So if you're new here, just let me tell you about Lisa. She's just been doing these videos for a while now. Like how long, Lisa? I mean,
Oh gosh, about 2 years now.
Yeah. And I was fortunate enough a couple of years ago to be one of her guests, and we had so much fun. And we did the Sip and Sparkle.
Yes.
This is not wine. It's so just so you know, this
Mine's
is water. And so anyway, but I was fortunate enough to be one of her guests, and so and I just appreciated her so much, the way she was so selflessly puts other people out there and puts their businesses out there for people to know about. And so I just approached her a little while ago and asked her if I could interview her, because we just need to give back a little love and recognition, I think. Aww. And so she's always interviewing business owners in the community and since she's doing something new now, it's time for her to get a little recognition and share what it is she's doing. So cheers to you.
Oh, thanks, my friend. I appreciate it.
So Lisa, share a little bit about, why don't you just share, maybe people don't even know anything about you personally. Why don't you just kind of share a little bit about your personal life?
Well, my background, I came from a corporate retailing background, and I was in the retail industry for 35 years, I think. And I started out of college in department store retailing, went up into management, which then turned into the buying office. And then it turned into merchandise planner. And I was there until 2005. And, it's a great training ground. You learn a lot of great things, but it's also kind of a beating.
Yeah.
So, while I was actually in the retail world, I was introduced to the direct selling industry, and I kind of did a little side gig with Southern Living at Home and had a lot of fun with it. And when I quit my real job with in retail, I decided to just, I'm going to give this direct sales thing a try. And I ended up doing that for 13 years with companies. Yeah. So I started with Southern Living at Home. It merged and became Willow House, and then it sold. And then I ended up working for a designer, Sarah Blaine, and her husband, representing jewelry. And I did that until, COVID happened. And unfortunately, the business model was really getting in front of people, and that made it a little difficult. They opted to close the direct selling division of their business.
Did you have you been in Texas all of this time, or where did your story begin?
I started, we're from California originally, and we moved here in 2002.
And so then you were doing the jewelry thing, which I have quite a few pieces of. So don't tell my husband. So what inspired you to do what you're doing right now? Because you're doing a lot of things, really. A lot of different niches that you kind of touch on, and I love it.
While I was in California, I joined Weight Watchers. It's now WW, but had always kind of struggled with my weight, had been one of those yo-yo dieters. It just never really worked well. So I decided to join Weight Watchers, and I lost 45 pounds, and I kept it off for 3 years. And then we moved to Texas. And when we moved to Texas, all those great habits that I developed kind of went by the wayside. And, I fell in love with Tex-Mex and used the weather as an excuse not to be active, and then just, kind of snowballed. Bottom line, gained all my weight back, plus some. So I had 65 pounds to lose. And in 2010, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't do this anymore. I just felt miserable. In 2010, I started my journey again. And then by 2011, I'd lost the 65 pounds and have kept it off. After I lost that weight, I decided, you know what, I think I might want to be a service provider with WW because I enjoyed the program and I loved the members. And I thought, you know, I could do this. This could be fun. Well, I did it very part-time, not thinking it would really turn into anything. So all these other businesses that I talked about, I kind of did it alongside that, very part-time. When I was doing the jewelry business, one of the things I loved so much about it was the fundraising aspect of it. And I was able to give back, and the business model enabled me to do that. So I was saddened that went away, you know, when the business closed. I had people approach me during the pandemic to see if I would coach them, you know, because they were struggling with their weight loss and they didn't want to go into a studio. And they're like, would you kind of coach me on the side? I'm like, okay. You know, it was one person. I thought, well, I'll just kind of do that under the table until I kind of figure out what I want to do. Well, I had more and more people asking me, what do you want to do? I mean, what would you consider coaching me? And I'm like, okay. So by the third person, I'm like, oh, this got really real and I need to make this a business. I can't, you know.
Yeah, I'm not doing this for free anymore.
Exactly. So I ended up creating a business where I'm a success coach, and I have 3 pillars. It's personal, professional, and philanthropic. The personal is the health and wellness piece of it, you know, helping people, you know, just like you do, be their best self, you know, really spending a lot of time with mindset, building sustainable habits, weekly accountability, and goal setting. So that's really what we focus on. And then I had some people say, well, you know, those approaches, they work well with business accountability. Would you coach me on my business? So I'm like, well, yeah, I could do that. I mean, I'm not going to write a business plan for you, but if you need help staying accountable and reaching certain goals and want me to really push you towards certain goals in your business, I can do that. So that was a professional pillar. And then the philanthropic pillar is the fundraising piece of it. So I'm really a fundraising consultant. And what I do is like high level idea generation for fundraising. So I'm not going to go out there and actually put on a fundraiser for you, but I'm kind of like a think tank, and I have a pool of resources, various people that I work with, and we can help, you know, just idea generate for you and come up with process improvements. So hence personal, professional, philanthropic success coach.
Awesome. Wow. So why should people come to you?
I have a unique background. I really do. So I have, you know, 8 years as a certified health coach. And let me preface before I continue, I'm not a dietitian, and I'm not a personal trainer, and I'm not a medical professional. And I like to clarify that because, you know, I don't want somebody saying, well, you know, my doctor said this, but, you know, I think, well, maybe we should do this. I'm like, I don't argue with medical professionals. If your doctor's telling you to do something, you need to follow your doctor's advice. Exactly. So, but as a certified coach, I can guide you, you know, in your journey. So I do have a unique background, and, you know, in the direct selling industry as well, you know, I helped mentor and develop women to be very successful entrepreneurs. So, you know, that has kind of helped mold me, and also the retailing aspect. So I think I bring a really unique approach to it. I think it boils down to, bottom line, who do you feel comfortable with? I can't guarantee that you're going to feel comfortable with me. I hope that you would, but
who doesn't feel comfortable with you?
Well, but, you know, what I would hope is that, you know, we would have an initial conversation, and then you could make that determination. So
what do you do for fun when you don't have a knee that you just had replaced?
I know, right? Right now, my fun is doing exercises. I like to bike ride, and I'm actually excited to really get back and start bike riding again, because that had kind of gone on hiatus because of my knee. I love hiking. I love snow skiing, even though we're kind of landlocked in Texas. I'm excited for the possibility of then planning ski trips. We have a friend who lives in Colorado. So, we can visit. So I'm excited about that. I love to read and I love to puzzle. I'm like really big into puzzles.
Oh.
Love puzzles. They really help me just kind of disconnect. I just enjoy that.
So once you get the puzzle put together, do you do something with it so you don't, or do you just take it apart?
I usually take it apart, but I leave it up for a while. I take a picture of it. I look at it. I'm like, okay, that was cool. And then, the cat decides to land on it and scoot it across the table. And then, the dog is right there hoping that it will disassemble. So I'm like, okay, it's time to take it down. Take it down.
Yeah. So how long have you been married?
Oh, gosh. Let's see. We got married in 2003. How many years is that?
18? Coming up on 17 years?
17 years.
18 years?
18 years. And we were together for 7 years, actually, before we got married. So we've been together a long time. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And you met out in California?
We did. I had kind of a weird segue in the retail world, and I worked for Kinko's. Well, it's now FedEx Office, but I worked for Kinko's, and I met my husband there. And I always say that if I'd stayed in, true retailing, like department store retailing, I probably wouldn't be married, just because it's a little more difficult to meet men in that industry that, it just, so anyways, so that was kind of a neat little segue, and I met my husband.
So do you have brothers and sisters?
Nope, just me. Okay. And I was adopted.
Oh.
My adopted parents are now deceased, but I don't know who my birth parents are. I kind of am curious. I might try to pursue that at some point. So.
And you live right in the middle of downtown McKinney in the historic district, right?
Yes, we absolutely love it. Live in a little 1930 Tudor house and within walking distance to the square. And that was one of the reasons why we decided to move to this area, just because we were down on the square a lot. We like to shop there, if we do shopping, and great restaurants. There's, live music. It's just a really fun community. So
yeah, it is. So what is it that you haven't done yet that you dream of doing?
Oh, that's a really good question. I was thinking about that the other day. What is something, how do I want to expand? Well, I've started doing blog posts and I'm really enjoying it. And I've always liked writing, like creative writing and everything. I always found it really interesting. And I'm thinking at some point, maybe I might write a book or something. I also like speaking in front of people. So I could see at some point, I've had actually people ask me if I would speak to a group of people about health and wellness. I could see that possibly turning into something.
Okay, so those are kind of advancement of your career kind of thing, right?
Yes.
But are there dreams that you have, like just from a personal, to go somewhere, to jump out of an airplane, or?
I do have a desire to jump out of an airplane. I've always thought that would be really fun. My husband thinks I'm an idiot for doing that. So
yeah, I'm kind of with your husband on that.
Yeah. But I just think it would be amazing. We want to travel to Italy really bad, and there's a strong possibility we would have gone this year, but then, COVID happened. And so obviously I'm not going to be traveling internationally for a while, but definitely want to go to Italy and then back to France. We were in Paris and gosh, what year was it? I think it was 2015, and just definitely want to go back. So just traveling, we hope to, when we retire, and even before we...
Is there anything else you can think of that you'd like to tell the world?
No, I can't think about anything. You've asked me some great questions. I really can't.
Well, this has been fun. I'm glad that we...
So fun. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad we could do this. Like I said, you have just been a light in the community of McKinney, and you will continue to be, but I thought it was about time that somebody put the spotlight on you, girl.
Wow,
so.
Thank you. You're so sweet, and I think the world of you, and I appreciate all you do.
Well, and I love that that we're like-minded in what we do, and
Yes, I do too.
different, but similar.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, cheers. Cheers
Yes, cheers.
Cheers to 2021 being the best year ever.
Absolutely.
Everyone, thanks for joining us on Sip and Sparkle Sunday, and we'll see you next time.
Awesome. Thanks, Kathy.